welcome back to another episode of The Music Box with me, Meg Vincetta, and today I am joined with local legend,
I'm not a legend.
Daisy Gill. She's a legend to me. We've been having banter all day. So let's just kick off with, how was your Music Box experience?
I had a really nice time. I sang a few songs and everyone was really warm and welcoming.
Switched it up. You turned up with the guitar and instead of banging out it on a keyboard.
Well, I'm primarily like piano based. Like my first instrument was like the keyboard and the piano, and like all the tracks I do now are more piano based. As when I was younger, they were more like guitar country based, but now they're not. So I didn't know you would have a piano or a keyboard here, so I was like, I'll bring it with me. And
We've got everything here.
You've got everything.
We got everything here. Okay, so let's have a little chat about your songs that you've just performed for us. Okay. So first song that you sang was Save It for a Rainy Day.
Yes.
And I was shocked to, like, after listening to the song, and it's like a absolute power ballad.
Oh,
so
thank you.
I was just shocked that you wrote that when you were 15.
I wrote like the first two songs when I was like 15, and it's strange to me because I always say to like me mum or my friends, like when I wrote it, I'd never been in a relationship or anything. I didn't understand what like true quote unquote cheesy heartbreak was. So I was like, well, it's weird that I wrote songs like that then when I'd never experienced anything like that. But I think sometimes when you're that young, like, you see the world differently, and I honestly think I wrote better when I was younger because it was honest, and it was like, not saying like the music I'm writing now isn't honest, but it was like, it has a rawness to it because you're so young and you're so almost vulnerable and naive to the world that you're singing about all this heavy-ish stuff, and you don't even realise the severity of it at the time.
Yeah, so like you're looking at it through like innocent eyes.
Yeah.
But actually, when you start to feel it, you get a little bit icky and resentment, and you get like all those nasty feelings like that come from being heartbroken.
Yeah.
And then it can like kind of blur you.
Well, I think that's why I come back to those songs, because I ended up recording them and like releasing them is because I was like rooting through some old stuff from when I was a younger kid, and I found I've still got all my songwriting books. I've been writing since I was 12. Over the years I must have written hundreds. I can't get me I can't articulate myself very well today.
It's not these coffee cups, by the way. It's
vodka.
It's a little something.
It's something else. But I think I was looking back at all those things and like found all my old songwriting books, and I looked at them and I was like, oh, these really resonate with me now that I'm older, and like I can understand them a bit better than I did when I was 15. So I decided to bring them out.
The other thing is as well, like maybe you're just an old soul. So maybe you've
People
been here
say
before,
that about me.
And some people have hurt your heart, and then you've brought it into this one, and came up 15 years old like, I'm still not over those people who broke my heart. I still hate you. I still want you to hear how much you hurt me.
Clearly, because I'm very much like that now. I mean, help my business.
I love that. So let's talk about your next song.
Yeah.
Sorry, just when you were, I've got like a little question, because when I was listening to the song, it's obviously talking about you don't want to fall in love.
Oh, Save It
for a Rainy Day.
When I was 15, I remember having a crush on this dude because I used to hang around with all the goths in town, and I used to think he was the best thing since sliced bread. And I really liked him, and he didn't like me at all. And I was like, I don't want to like you because I know that like you don't like me. And I think that's where I wrote it from at 15.
It came from that gothic phase.
It came from my gothic,
so
terrible
much good stuff
teens.
comes from the goth phase. I miss my goth phase. Right, okay. So do you think that do you want to fall in love now? Are you in love now?
I hate
still
love.
the same old 15-year-old.
I'm very cynical.
Okay then. Well, your next song, Breaking Down the Walls. Maybe you should break down the walls. Let someone in. But this isn't more about love, is it? It's more about your friendships and what you experienced.
I had a friend. I'm still like somewhat friends with her to this day, but
somewhat. You were about to go in the burn book, baby.
You were about to go in the burn book, girl. No, I'm messing. And the reference to deep brown eyes is because my friend, she's got these like, they're almost black eyes, like it's crazy. And we had a big falling out when we were younger, and we never spoke for a while, and it absolutely like destroyed me because like I loved her so much. Like she was like my best friend. We like did everything together, and then like not to have that, it was like, I think what's weird, like the first opening line is the stories get colder as we're getting older.
Yeah.
And now I'm older, I actually think friggin' hell, that was deep for me to write when I was 15. Because it's true, like, as you
It's
get
this
older...
old soul coming back with, with a
Well,
vengeance.
it's true though, as you get older, like, it becomes more real, and we realise that it is a bit shit. Like, things do get a little bit colder and a bit more real.
You get a little bit more
older.
cynical, don't you? You lose that innocence type of thing as you're
Yeah,
growing up, and you get more
definitely.
like hard-shelled. You just like
Hard-faced, as I say.
Yeah. So, you know, when you do fall out with a friend when you're younger versus how you are now, do you think there's a difference?
Well, now if I fall out with someone, I'll just never speak to you again. I don't fight with
Scissor
people.
hands, you're like,
No,
snip,
it's
bye-bye.
so weird. Like, when I fall out with people, I literally, like, I'll just see it for what it is, and I just take me dignity, and I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah. High road.
I'm like,
high
bye.
road.
I don't say anything, so I think, like, I don't know, what was the question again? I forgot because I've just went on one.
Just seeing like the difference between like when you fall out with someone when you're younger, when you wrote that song, even
think
because
when-
it kind of still resonates now,
I
doesn't
think
it?
when you fall, that's the point I was trying to make, is when you fall out with someone when you're younger, I've noticed when you're like a 15-year-old, it's so
a
and
big
catastrophic and fireworks. But as I've got older, like, if I see something shady in someone, I mean, there's certain people I've cut out my life in the last year where I'm like, saw you do that, and I've never mentioned it, and we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And if I see it, I'll be civilised with you.
Very,
but you
very
don't have to
mature.
have these, like, big blowouts with people, and it's not my style. I'll just go quietly.
It's deciding where your energy should be invested, isn't it? I'm very like that. I'm just like, you know, if I see a bad vibe, I don't need to call you out on the bad vibe unless you pull me to it, and I will. But then I'm like, yeah, I'm just not going to mess with that. Like,
No, that's it, and that's all you have to do. And I think that's like growing up and maturing and like realising your own worth. And you go, I don't need to put up with that.
But then
Sure.
that's not as exciting to write about, is it? Because you'd just be
No.
like, the whole song, it'd just be a music video of you going like,
I don't really give a shit.
literally, you say that one line and then you just look and then look away.
I think deep down you do give a shit, but you just don't. You don't show it as much.
You're stronger, aren't you? You don't need to, you don't carry it as on your shoulders as heavy as you used to as a child. Yeah. So let's talk about your third song to make it all right.
That hasn't been released yet. I only wrote it this year, and this kind of like a vibe, I suppose, that you could expect or could not expect from the upcoming stuff. Pardon me, that I have got or have not got in the future, because we
She's
know
being very secretive about
I
what
just
she's
jinx,
working on.
I jinx everything. I
Touch
say,
wood while
I'm
you say it and tell us what you're doing.
What?
Touch wood while you say what you're doing.
Yeah, like I say, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm doing this project, and then like something
And then it
happens.
falls through.
Yeah, so I don't want to say, because no, my luck it will fall through. So I could be doing something.
Well, how about this then? When it's all out and it's all finished, you can come back and we'll
Yeah,
talk
I
about
could talk about it then.
Yeah,
But
that
the
makes
song,
sense.
to make it all right, was just... I mean, I can't say I wrote it specifically about anyone or anything, but I think it's about having that feeling of like the rug being pulled from underneath you when you think that you can trust someone. And like I think when I reference like, then I fall into your trapdoor and it takes me by surprise, because it's like I think where I was coming from when I wrote that was like I thought I knew someone, and then here's another trapdoor, and it took me by surprise because I thought we were good and I thought things were going this way, but clearly they weren't.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was going for. And then like the reference of like walking on the glass floor is like just feeling like you're walking on eggshells with someone and not knowing where you stand. So I think probably is referencing people, but not referencing people I've dealt with in the past.
Yeah, it's just more like a generic thing, because I feel everybody feels that feeling. Nobody likes to feel like they're walking on eggshells as well, do they?
I think in the last year of my life, I've definitely cut off a lot of people who made me feel that way and made me feel like I just didn't know where I was with them or didn't know where I stood, and it made me feel a certain way for a while. But I think
some type of way.
it did, and I think being in 2020 actually made me realise that like you don't have to forgive everyone, and that's something that I used to hold as a burden. It made me feel worse.
Yeah.
Because I'd think, oh, this person's like done dirty on me, or they've treated me like shit, and I used to think, oh, I've just got to forgive them. And I think what that song was kind of came from was that feeling of like, I don't have to forgive people. Like, I can wish them like, you don't even have to wish them well.
Yeah.
You can just be like, you're doing your thing, I'm doing mine. I don't forgive you, but I don't hold any resentment. And it's like, my favourite quote is that like, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy.
Yeah.
And when you feel angry and this like bad feeling, you're still holding on to it. But when you feel like this, the apathetic side of it, like you feel indifferent towards someone, you don't have to forgive them, but you just feel indifferent.
It's
and
just
it's like a clean slate. You feel very liberated from it, and that's kind of I wrote that song when I was still in a very like pissed off stage type thing. But now I'm like,
it's
chill.
like you don't need to forgive people, but you can let it go.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think that's something like Instagram, if I'm going to go on that little topic, Instagram, like, drums down our throats. Oh, like, you know, you have to forgive everyone, live, laugh, love. And it's like, that's actually
That's my
promoting
worst-
toxicity to people,
worst
because
quote ever.
for ages I used to think I had to forgive people who've done really bad things to me. And now I'm like, no, I don't.
No.
How bizarre is that? Like, it's absurd. No.
Yeah, you get to determine the way you want to live your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And there's
yeah.
Instagram quotes just for that as well.
Definitely is.
So let's talk about the way you perform. And obviously 2020 has been a write-off of a year when it
Yeah.
comes to performance.
I
Except
don't
for like
count
online.
this year. I'm not 22 anymore. I'm 21.
No, still 21, yeah.
I'm turning 22 in February.
I'm like Benjamin Buttoning, you see.
Yeah.
I'm like 15, guys, okay?
Yeah, same.
So what type of gigs do you tend to perform?
Well, it's a big mixture of things, because obviously, like, I've performed on the main stage of Pride, like, last year, and then the year
Fantastic
before.
achievement, by the way.
I love Pride. I've got such a, like, I'm
Special
really
place.
involved with the LGBT community, and, like, I've been performing in, like, a lot of the gay bars since I was, like, 17. Like, the Lisbon was where I first started
Yeah.
properly doing, like, me paid gigs, per se, as a self-employed musician. But then, like, I think going from that, like, doing those types of gigs, I also, obviously, as I said, do, like, weddings, pubs, this, that, and
Yeah.
the other, because my passion in life is I don't want to work a normal 9 to 5 if I can. Don't get me wrong, you know, we've got to, especially in this pandemic, I've had to. But, like, before that, I was always independent. I've
Yeah.
just made music my priority, to the point I can make money from doing the gigging and then spend my time actually focusing on my craft and learning to sing better or write better or do this or that or record. And that's what it's went back into. So I think it's been a big difference not being able to do that, and it's been kind of it's made me feel really stagnated.
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything, and that's the worst thing to me.
To be go, go, go.
I've got ADHD, so I need that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I need structure. If I don't have structure, I fall apart
Yeah.
very quick. So I found it hard at first, but I've adapted, like we all have had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when you've obviously performed, you know, on the headlining stage at Gay Pride.
Yeah.
So, and you've also done Boscan. What's your favourite between there?
I
What's
think-
the difference?
I think the major difference is, like, you're going to be freezing your tits off, Boscan. Unless it's the summer and then you're boiling. But, like, I've been heckled a lot, Boscan.
Have you?
I get random dudes coming up to me, like really old men, being like, "Don't give up your day job." I'm
Oh
like,
my
okay.
God.
And then I had one dude.
You've got the mic, you should heckle him back. Like, this loser gives me, you know.
This loser gives me shit. No, I'm really messing. Like, no, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I had this one guy when I was like 17, and he looks about 40, and he kept coming and like putting stuff in me box, like £20 notes, and he was like, "I want to take you on a date," and I was terrified, and I was like, "What do I do?" And he literally come up
£20
to
is
me,
£20 though,
and
honey.
then he bought like perfume, he bought like River Island's own perfume.
Oh my God.
And, like, put it in me thing with the receipt and went, "If you want to get your money back, you can." It was so
Oh
weird.
my God,
and then he
that's
took
so
me
weird.
mic from me and was like, "This is like the most weirdest thing that's ever happened," and I was so like embarrassed and scared. He took me mic and got like a crowd of people and went, "Everyone, should this girl go on a date with me?" And all the women were going like, "Go," and all the dudes were
Leave
going
your
like,
equipment.
"Yeah," and
Oh
I was
my
like, "Ugh." I was like, he was like, "You'll still be here after I'm like, I've got to go somewhere. You'll still be here like in the next half hour." He was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh,
As soon as he got, I was like,
Sets closed, guys.
"Bye." I was like, "I'm out of here."
I love that. So you've performed. So moving aside from the Boscan,
Yeah.
then, what would your dream stage be to perform?
I've
on?
always wanted to play, obviously, Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Like, I played a little teeny, incy-wincy stage at Glastonbury the other year.
That's amazing.
It was boss. Like, I worked Glastonbury backstage at the West Holt stage, and I think that really like opened my eyes, because for years I always thought I had to be a certain thing or box myself in these stupid things in my head. And you see so many diverse artists, you're like, you don't have to be anything. If you're passionate about what you're doing and it's good, just do it. You don't have to overthink everything. And I think that was my biggest downfall. So after Glastonbury, I was just like, I want to play here one day, even if it's on like a smaller stage. Obviously everyone wants to play the Pyramid or something, but just like to properly say I've played a proper stage at Glastonbury would be like a big dream.
Okay, send your tickets my way as well.
Yeah.
I'll be fangirling in the front, like,
I love Glasgow, it's so good.
yeah, it's the best, isn't
It's
it,
boss.
Paul? Right, well, thank you so much for coming on today. It's
Thank
been an
you.
absolute pleasure. So you're not going to tell us what you're working on at the minute, but we're going to
No,
check
'cause I'll
back in.
jinx it.
We're going to check back in, and we're going to see, you know, what you've been working on. This secret mission, it's just not
It's
a
not
secret,
a
but she's
secret
not
mission.
talking about it. But no, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming on.
for
It was a
having
pleasure
me.
listening to you singing and performing as well, and I think
Oh,
everybody
thank
will
you.
love it. So what is...
What do you say?
So before we go, where can everybody find you on social media?
So obviously you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz. But it's all the same handle. It's just Daisy Gill Music, and that's it really. Apart from Spotify, it's just Daisy Gill.
Okay, well, make sure you check Daisy
Thank
Gill
you.
out on all of her social media so you can see whatever it is, if there's any. If
there's anything,
if
if I
there's
just,
any, and it may or
like-
may not be.
I've done 2 EPs now and not released them. So this is why I say
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, we need to start a petition, like, to get Daisy Gill.
Daisy Dill.
Gazy Dill. Get Gazy Dill to get her music out, okay? No, so thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. But
Thank
now
you.
we're tuning out.
Thank you.
See you on the next episode.